Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for watching. In today's video, I put some of my favorite buffalo check Christmas DIYs I did last year. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell button so you can get notified every time I upload. With that being said, now let's craft. For my first DIY, I will be using some Dollar Tree wood dowels. I will be using 12 in total. I'm going to start off by painting these using my Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to glue 4 dowels together to make a square. I will be making 2 squares. To make the box, I'm going to glue 1 dowel on each corner, and then I will be gluing the other square on top. This DIY was inspired by a Hobby Lobby gift box that I seen recently. I wanted to recreate this, so I will be using some juice string. I am using some Walmart juice string because it is thicker than the one at Dollar Tree. I will be making mine different than the one at Hobby Lobby, but it's almost kind of the same. So I am going to start off by cutting a long piece of juice string, and then I'm going to glue it to one corner and then just wrap it around the next side till I make a rectangle. I'm going to continue to do the same steps until I complete the rectangle. Once I am done, I am going to glue it at the end. I will be repeating the same steps in the opposite sides. The ones at Hobby Lobby are double, but I am doing mine single. And you can already leave it like this and then just add the X. But I am going to add another rectangle. But this time I will be putting the string over and under of all of the other ones. This is the X I did mention earlier. I am putting the string over and under, over and under. This is really hard for me to explain the steps that I was doing, and there was probably an easier way to do this, but I did try it like 3 or 4 different other ways, and I found it that this was the easiest, well, at least for me. But let me know down in the comments if you know of an easier way to do this. I will be repeating the same steps on all other 4 sides. I am going to leave one of them empty because that is going to be the bottom. And this is how it looks. The next thing I will be doing is I'm going to add the ribbon, and I am using this ribbon that I got from Dollar General. It was $2. I am only making a cross and then adding a double bow I made using the same ribbon. And that is it for this gift box. I absolutely love how this turned out. For my second DIY, I will be using this beautiful placemat that I picked up from Dollar General. This was only $1. And this Dollar Tree frame that I used in one of my previous videos, but I am upcycling this. This wasn't this color. I did paint it using my Waverly Antique Wax. I used the picture that was inside the frame to trace it on top of the placemat and then cut it. The next thing I will be doing is adding the placemat inside the frame. And you can leave it like this, but I did decide to make a shoestring bow. I'm going to glue it above half. And that is it for my second DIY. I absolutely love how this turned out because it was so easy and so inexpensive to make. For my third DIY, I will be using these Dollar Tree little boxes. One is from the fall and one is from Halloween. I am also using the leftover placemats that I use in my second DIY. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the plastic from both boxes. I will be making one big box with both of these, so I am only removing one side. And I decided to remove the side that had the little hanging part or the little extra box. And to glue these together, I will be using the extra pieces that I removed. I am going to cut them so they can fit inside. I'm going to glue these together first. Then I'm going to glue one of the pieces on the side, and I'm going to repeat that on the other side. The rest of the other pieces, I'm going to glue them inside but at the bottom. These are going to make it more sturdy. And these are the last pieces that I had. I wanted to add more in the middle, so I will be using some extra pieces that I had from a previous DIY. The next thing I will be doing is cutting the leftover placemats. I am only using the buffalo check part. I decided not to paint the boxes before I added these, but you can totally do so. I'm going to cut the other pieces and glue them on the other side. For the sides, I didn't have enough, so I first glued my first piece and then used another piece to add it to the side. And this is how my box looks. The next thing I will be doing is adding some burlap, and I'm going to cut this Dollar Tree burlap into a smaller piece, so like that. I don't use all of it. Besides, these little boxes aren't that big, so you don't need all of it. The next thing I will be doing is just gluing it half on one side and half on the other side, and this is going to cover all that part of the box. I did glue some nautical rope first, but I didn't like how that looked, so I removed it and used the burlap instead. To decorate my box, I will be using some garland, and you can totally add 3 of the LED candles, but I only had one, so that is what I'm using. And look how beautiful this box looks. I'll be using this summer decor. This is from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the shoestring and use the back. I am also removing these stars because these can be great for tree toppers and they're really pretty, so I am going to save these. This sign was actually sent to me, so I think they were selling these during like 4th of July, Memorial Day, but Dollar Tree always carries so many signs you can use instead. I will be using the back of this sign, and I am going to paint it using chalk paint. I want this to look more rustic and old, so I am using a light hand and dry painting this. I am not painting this perfect because I do want some of that brown to peek through, and I just love how this makes it look. I'm going to sand this a little using a sand sheet from Dollar Tree. I just love how this makes it look. I will be using this paint stick to make some wood planks, and I'm using my Crayola marker in brown to make the lines. I love it because like that I don't have to go over it with like a small paintbrush, and the lines come out way straighter. A paint marker can work too, but I just don't own a brown one. I do have a black, but I wanted this to be brown. I'm going to distress the sign a tiny bit more using the antique wax. And And this is how it looks. The next item I will be using is from Dollar General, is this blessed ornament. I'm going to remove the string, and it has these little hooks so where you can put the string, so I am going to remove them. Dollar Tree is also carrying some cute ornaments you can use instead. Using my hot glue, I'm going to glue this at the bottom. Another item that is from Dollar General are these cute reindeer ornaments. Four come in a pack for $2. I will be using one, and I'm going to glue it right on top of the bless, and look how cute this sign turned out. To hang this, I will be adding some jute string. I'm going to use another of the Dollar Tree signs. I'm going to paint this using the chalk paint. I will be repeating the same steps I did with my first DIY. I'm using another of the reindeer from that pack, but this time I removed the bow so I can flip the reindeer around like that. When I put these together, they can be facing each other. And I also removed the bow to add a little buffalo check bow that I did from a Hobby Lobby ribbon. I am using another of the Dollar General ornaments. This time this one says peace and it has a different background. Since I added a buffalo check bow to the reindeer, I decided to do it to the other decor sign. So I am going to remove the little jute string bow and add a white and black buffalo check bow. The last thing I did was add some jute string so I can hang this. And that is it for this set. I absolutely love how this turned out. So stay tuned for part 2. I am using the rest of the reindeers. Part 2 will be coming Saturday. For my next DIY, I will be using the small Dollar Tree wreath, 2 come in a pack, and some Dollar Tree garland. I'm only using 7 feet. I'm going to start off by wrapping the garland around the wreath. Once I was done wrapping the piece of garland, I did spread it around so it can look fuller. And to make this fuller so it doesn't look so empty, I am going to add some Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm going to cut this into pieces. Next, I'm going to tie these to the wreath just here and there randomly. And this is how it looks once I put the whole ribbon. The next thing I will be doing is adding some mesh tube. This, I got it when they first put out the Thanksgiving stuff. I'm going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to cut them into pieces and then just tie them here and there. The mesh tube is 15 feet, but I'm only using like 7 feet. I wanted to incorporate some of black and white ribbon. I didn't have any smaller ones, so I am using the one that Dollar Tree carried during Halloween. Or I know it hasn't been Halloween yet, but the beginning of when they started to put the Halloween, because these things flew out the shelf. I only had these little pieces, so I'm just putting them randomly here and there. And these, I am not tying them. All I'm doing is putting them through the little wreath and then back up, and it's making like a little loop. And I'm going to do that all around the wreath. It would have been so much easier if I had a long piece of the ribbon instead of these little pieces, but I am working with what I have. Once I was done putting the last one, I decided to leave it like this. You can totally add more. And to put something in the center, I decided to use this little cute Dollar General ornament. It is so cute and it matches the rest of my DIYs. I am going to just remove the tag and tie this to the wreath and put this in the center. Look how cute this is. From Dollar Tree, I will be using one of the wire baskets, 2 packs of the Christmas trees, and this leftover piece that I had from a Dollar Tree decor sign. If you don't have this, you can use so many other different things for the bottom, like a ruler, popsicle sticks, or anything that fits the bottom. I'm going to start off by measuring the size of the basket, so like that I can cut this. And I used some scissors. This was pretty easy to cut through. Using the Waverly semi-gloss paint in truffle, I'm going to paint both of the signs. Once they're both nice and dry, I'm going to distress them using the Waverly chalk paint in mineral. I'm using a light hand and semi-dry painting this to make it look more weathered and rustic and old. And that's why I want to sing about the Christmas on its way. Using these Dollar Tree stencils, I will be putting fresh cut to the smaller piece, and I will be using a paint marker. This time I usually just trace it and then go over it, but I decided to try this and it's so much easier. I'm going to make 2 little holes to this sign, and I'm using my drill for this. Now that my little sign has holes, I'm using some Dollar Tree juice string to tie it to the basket. It feels like
I'm a kid, like I'm forever young. And that's why I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way. A reason to hang around and celebrate this day. Everyone's smiling.
This sign was too plain, so I decided to make a small little garland. I'm going to start off by cutting this garland tie, then cut some of these pine cones and berries from this little bush. This is from a Hobby Lobby little bush, and I'm going to use a buffalo check bow that I made.
It's the time of year, my winter wonderland, my winter
I'm gluing the bow in the center, then the pine cones and berries on the sides.
was on its way. A reason to hang around and celebrate this.
Before I glue the little garland to my sign, I'm going to add little legs to this tray, and I'm using these beads. These are from Amazon. They are the 0.25 mm, I think. I'm not sure. I'll leave the information down in the description box. But I did add 4 of them, 2 on each side. Then I glue the little garland underneath fresh cut. And look how beautiful these little trays turned out. The last thing I did was just add my little Christmas trees on top. I will be using one of these Dollar Tree little houses, some letters. These are from Dollar Tree as well, but I ended up using some Walmarts because I realized I didn't have enough of the E's and I think an M. I'm not sure what else, but I did decide to use these Walmart ones. The first thing I will be doing is removing the back of this little house, and I took off all the pink paper off because I thought I was going to paint the front, but I ended up using a scrap paper from Hobby Lobby. Before I glue the paper, I'm going to paint the frame using the Waverly chalk paint in truffle. I finally got the chalk paint in this color. In my first DIY, I had used the gloss one, which is not that bad, but I think the chalk paint is so much better. I am going to dry paint this with a light hand and using this stipple paintbrush. As you can see, I was going to paint the back, but I decided to use this paper instead. So I am going to trace the little house and then cut it. To glue the paper, I will be using a glue stick. You can totally use Mod Podge or any other kind of adhesive. I just like using the glue stick. The next thing I will be using are some Dollar Tree DIY stickers. I have 2 different ones. I have these where they have these little glittery trees. I don't like the glitter, so I am going to trace it to this buffalo check paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. This is an extra piece that I already had. I'm going to trace it and then cut it, then glue it. Like I said, I'm using some other ones. I have these other little trees. These are wood and they're so much prettier than these glittery ones. So I decided to use 2 of these, 1 on each side, and then use a buffalo check little tree that I'm going to put together and glue it in the center. The wood trees have these little polka dots, so I am going to paint some red and some black like that. These are gonna match the tree in the center.
Yeah, Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light.
And look how cute these turned out, so color coordinated. But before I glue them, I'm going to put the stickers. Like I said, I'm using these Walmart ones instead of the ones that Dollar Tree carries.
I know lovely songs we all heard before as they walk from house to
Now that I have tree farm at the bottom, I'm going to glue the Christmas trees. Now I'm going to glue it to the frame.
And follow Rudolph all across the town. Played it with me under the mistletoe. While Santa's busy saying ho ho ho. We're feeling jolly.
And you can totally leave it like this. But I decided to make another of the garlands using the other piece of the garland tie, some more pine cones and berries. I am going to glue it at the top, and I'm going to glue a shoestring bow in the center. And that is it for this beautiful tree farmhouse.
They walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas Day. A Merry
I will be using one of the Dollar Tree wood crates, two other DIY wood decor trucks, and from Hobby Lobby I will be using this buffalo check scrap paper that is 69 cents, but they are usually 4 for $1. I am also using one pack of the little Dollar Tree Christmas trees, and I thought I was gonna use these leftover pieces of paint sticks, but I did not use these. I ended up using the Dollar Tree popsicle sticks instead. I'm going to start off by removing the tags from the trucks, and I'm also removing the trees, the doors, and the other 3D part that this truck has, but I didn't want to rip them, and I didn't want to rip anything, so it was kind of hard at the beginning, but then I used my blow dryer and it made it so much easier because it kind of melted the glue, and it was easier for this to come off. As you can see, it's kind of chipped, but it was okay because it wasn't much, and I did that to both of the trucks. One thing I should have done before I started to glue this was trace the trucks to the buffalo check paper, but I still did it after, and it wasn't that hard, but could have just done it before. So then I am going to glue both of the trucks to the crate. This will work as a trunk for the truck, and it's just the perfect size.
Let's go outside, the snow is falling down.
I will be using the two different sizes the Dollar Tree carries of popsicles, the jumbo ones and the mini ones, or the smaller ones. And I do have some other paint sticks that look like popsicle sticks. They are bigger than these, and I had several of those pieces, so I did use those as well. But these jumbo ones from Dollar Tree work perfectly for this. I'm just going to cut several of them to the size of the width of the truck. Then I'm going to start gluing them one by one all around the truck. I did have to cut some of the popsicle sticks in half so they can fit.
So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you.
And this is how it looks so far. Now for the bottom part was kind of hard, but I still managed to work around it. All I did was just cut some of the popsicle sticks to the size of the little curvy side, so like that it goes straight. I mean, it just doesn't curve, but it still goes along those lines. So yeah, I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's not that hard, and I am going to cover this with the paper so you won't be able to tell as much.
Maybe kiss a bit and dream away, and in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire, 'cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy.
And I didn't add anything to the bottom since you can't really see it. The next thing I will be doing is tracing the the truck to the paper. I'm going to do one side and then flip the truck the other side, so like that when I glue them they're gonna go straight to it. I don't know why I have recently
traced the things backwards, but this time I didn't. I catch myself before I messed up. Now I'm going to cut them, and I will be saving the extra pieces that are left over. These I am going to use them for the top part of the truck. I then placed the extra paper on top of the truck, and I started to press it down so it can crease. And as you can see the little lines, so it's going to be easier for me to cut this. I did this by parts. I did the top of the truck first, then I did the hood part, and then the front of the truck. So like that, it's easier. If I had another piece of paper, I think I could have done the whole thing at once, but I didn't. I'm going to paint the windshield black, so I only cut 2 small pieces to glue them on the side. And then I'm going to start gluing this. I did use a Dollar Tree glue stick. I wish I knew where my Elmer glue stick was, because I'm not going to lie, it works 100 times better than these Dollar Tree ones. These suck. But anyways, it kind of looks wonky, but I still like how it turned out. Once I am done with the top part, I am going to continue to glue the sides. And I forgot to cut the window, but at the end I still poked a pencil through, and that's how I cut it. Another thing I forgot to do was cut the other part of the wheel, like the whole circle. The other pieces that I removed, I'm going to paint them black. I am also painting the tires black and the windshield. Once they are dry, I'm going to glue them back to the truck. I'm going to paint the rest of the tire black, and I will paint a white circle inside the tire. The last thing I did was write 5 cents on the door and added the trees and a small little wreath. And that is it for this truck DIY. I absolutely love how this turned out. I will be using this buffalo check dish drying mat. I got this from Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is carrying so many different buffalo check stuff this year, and I absolutely love that. But I was only able to find the drying mat, so I thought this would be great to make a fabric tree. I will be using the Dollar Tree wood tree as my stencil, and I will be tracing it twice, but in order to fit 2 of them into one mat, I do have to flip the tree around. Then I'm going to trace it using a paint marker. Once they are cut out, look how cute they are. I did try my best for them to both be exact the same size. And I'm going to show you what not to do, because this is a mistake I did. I ended up using hot glue the first time I did this.
and it totally messed this up because I am gluing them backwards, or like with the buffalo check inside. And when I try to flip it around, I don't know, it looked horrible, horrible. So thank God I had two of the drying mats. So I went ahead and retraced it and recut them. And this time around, I used a sewing kit from Dollar Tree to sew this. The only part I didn't sew was the bottom, because that is where I'm going to stuff this with some pillow stuffing.
We reach a place we could stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away.
Once I was done sewing this, I turned it around and it looks so much better. I think the material of the drying mat is why the hot glue didn't work, or maybe it was just me, I did it all wrong. But anyways, the next thing I will be doing is stuffing this, and I am using a pillow that I got last year from Walmart for like $2. I did use it in some pumpkin DIYs last year, and I still have a lot of it left over. For the bottom piece, I will be using these pieces that I had left over, this piece of wood and this piece of paint stick. I'm going to paint both of them using the Waverly chalk paint in Truffle. I actually needed a longer piece of wood, but because I didn't have one, I decided to attach this Jenga block. This is a jumbo one. These are from my kids' toys. They do have like half of them missing, so one more. I just stole one of them. I might end up just taking all of them and craft with them. I don't know, but I am only using one for this, and I am going to attach it using hot glue. This is going to help it not be too flimsy and more sturdy. Next, I'm going to add it inside the tree, and as you can see, the hole is too big, so I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue so the fabric can glue to the piece of wood. Then I'm going to glue it to the stand. The last thing I will be doing is adding some jewelry around the bottom. Like that is going to cover all my imperfections or all the glue. And then I'm going to make a jewelry bow and glue it to the center. And that is it for this easy and budget-friendly fabric tree. I absolutely love how this turned out. I will be using the piece of drying mat that I messed up and a Dollar Tree sign. I did use some spackle to cover the little holes. Then I'm gonna use my Waverly chalk paint and Truffle to dry paint this sign. I didn't want to throw away these. Well, they kind of are all messed up. But I was like, you know what? I can still use these. So what I decided to do was trace this antler headband to the back and then cut these out so I didn't have to waste my headband. I just used these instead. And to be honest, I already had this in mind, but I was going to use the headband instead. Once I had cut this, I didn't like how the white sponge looked, so I did decide to paint this using black acrylic paint. I'm going to paint all the edges. They look so much better like this. Now I'm going to add them to my sign, and I'm going to just place them first to see where I want them to go. And I did decide to put it more towards the top. I do want to add a metal sign to the bottom, But first, I'm going to glue the antlers using hot glue. Then I'm going to add some greenery in the center. Be using this Dollar Tree candle holder. I am going to recycle mine, and I'm also recycling this glass. I picked this up a while back from a thrift store, so I'm going to use this, but you can totally use a wine glass from Dollar Tree. I just decided to do this because it looked different in my mind when I put it together. I was like, oh my gosh, it looks just like a wine glass. But I still kept going, so I am going to paint over this using the same Waverly chalk paint in truffle, and I'm also painting the other glass this color. I'm going to add 2 pieces of these wood squares in the center. Like that, the glass on top is going to have more to hold on to, not just the rim of the glass holder. So to glue this, I'm going to just mix both of the E6000 and the hot glue, then glue these together. But because there is so much glue all around it, I am going to add some juice string to that part, and that is going to hide all the glue. I mixed some Waverly chalk paint in truffle and mineral to distress the glass. It's going to make it look more rustic and old. For the bow, I used this Dollar General mini bow, but I ended up adding a buffalo check bow underneath this one. You can use this as a floral vase or as a candle holder. I am going to show you both ways. The first one is going to be the floral, and I will be using a Dollar Tree Christmas pick. Look how beautiful this looks. This was so easy and so inexpensive to make.
Hope it will be all that you dream. I have nothing but love for you.
And for the candle holder, I will be using this Dollar Tree candle. And this is what I love about this because you can use this either way. Be using this wood decor ornament that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I am also using the Be Brave 2021 calendar, and I already used this in one of my previous DIYs, but I am going to use the month of November, or the back of whatever November says, and I'm using this piece of galvanized 4th of July decor sign that I got during the summer. I'm going to start off by removing the tag, and then I'm going to trace the ornament on the back of the calendar. I know it doesn't fit, but that is okay because I'm going to use the rest of the little pieces that are left over. I'm going to cut this, and once I am done cutting this, it is going to look kind of weird because of the sides, but don't get discouraged. I promise you at the end it's going to look like if you didn't even add anything, and it's going to turn out beautiful. I will be adding the sides now, and if you don't want to add the sides, you can totally use Nautical rope, the one the Dollar Tree carries, and just glue it around the ornament, and that is going to cover those little empty pieces. But I decided to add the paper, so I am going to press it down to where it creases, and then I'm going to cut it. I will be doing this to both sides. Just make sure that the lines are going the same direction. I almost messed this up because I had cut one of them and the lines were going up, but I am so glad I catch myself before I glued it. Using my Elmer's glue stick, I'm going to start gluing this, and I started to glue the edges first and then the bigger piece. You can totally use Mod Podge if you want, but I don't like using Mod Podge. I like using this little Elmer's glue stick. Since I did cut this a little bit bigger than my sign, I had to press all the edges. And with a Dollar Tree scent sheet, I sent all the edges so like that it can blend them. To make the cap for my ornament, I will be using this metal decor sign that I picked up during July. I'm going to flip both of my signs over and then trace it using this marker, and then I'm going to cut it using my scissors. I am adding the piece of jewelry back to my decor sign so I can hang it. And then once I am done doing that, I'm going to glue the little cap. And look how beautiful this is turning out. I am using this buffalo check bow that I already had, but you can use any bow or any ribbon to make a bow. And look how beautiful this turned out. I will be using this Dollar Tree lantern, 8 popsicle sticks. As you can see, I didn't have enough of the Dollar Tree one, so I did have to make my little own using pieces that I already had. Plus this garland tie and this buffalo check ribbon that I had. Dollar Tree carries some, but I will be using one that I picked up from Michael's. And I am using 4 small little beads. I got these from Walmart. The first thing I will be doing is removing the tag and then removing the plastic. Here you go. The little images inside the lantern, and then I'm going to remove the top. With the popsicle sticks, I will be making the X's inside the lantern, so I do have to cut them a little. I want them to be the same color of the lantern, so I am painting these black using my apple barrel acrylic paint in jet black. I will be painting the beads the same color. Once everything was nice and dry, I started to glue the popsicle sticks inside the lantern. And like I said, I am making an X on each side. Once I finish gluing everything, I put the lantern upside down so I can add the beads at the bottom. Now I'm adding the top part back on. The last thing I will be adding is this garland tie. I'm going to wrap it around the top and then add this little cute bow I made out of the Hobby Lobby buffalo check ribbon. I decided to use this one instead of the Dollar Tree one because the one in Dollar Tree has little snowflakes and it's a little bit bigger than this one. And that is it for this cute little lantern. I absolutely love how this turned out. This is so perfect to go on a tier tray. Be using this Merry decor sign that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and I'm using this buffalo check paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I will be using the rest of this metal decor sign. This is from Dollar Tree as well. The first thing I will be doing is flipping the paper and the Merry sign around. Then I'm going to cut the tag and start tracing it. I am only tracing myrrh. I am not tracing the deer head. The next thing I will be doing is cutting this carefully. I wish I had a smaller scissors, but these are the only ones I have. So I am going to cut it, and to cut like the inside of the R and inside the E, all I did was poke a little hole and then start cutting it. Before I glue this, I'm going to trace the deer head on the metal decor sign. I'm going to flip both of them around and then start tracing it. This time I use a permanent marker. It was a little bit hard to get inside like the antlers, but I still managed to freehand draw the rest. You don't have to do this. Another good option you can do is do a burlap head. That will look nice too. The next thing I will be doing is cutting this, and I do wish I had some better scissors. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but these are fabric scissors, so I do need to give me some good craft scissors. If anybody knows of some good craft scissors, please let me know down in the comment section. Before I glue this, I am going to paint the deer head on the Merry sign with my Waverly chalk paint and elephant, just because you can kind of see where I kind of messed up on the antlers. Now I'm going to glue my Merry first, or Mer. Anyways, I'm going to glue it using my glue stick. Once again, if you want, you can use Mod Podge. I just like using my glue stick. One thing I ended up doing was painting the outer part of the myrrh with my black acrylic paint. So if you want to do that, it's easier to paint it before you glue the myrrh. I didn't think about that till later on. But anyways, once that is nice and glued, I am going to add the deer head with some hot glue. I kind of thought it looked plain, so I did add a little drawstring bow to the deer. And that is it, guys, for this Merry sign. I absolutely love how this turned out, and I cannot wait to show you the rest of the buffalo check in my next video. So please stay tuned, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell button so you can get notified every time I upload. hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time I upload. Be using this Dollar Tree wood Christmas tree. I'm going to start off by removing the tag. Then the next thing I will be using is this Hobby Lobby paper. They do have two different sizes, but I only have a smaller one. Another option you can do is just paint this white and make wood planks. But since I already have other DIYs with this paper, I decided to use this one. I am going to trace it. As you can see, it doesn't fit, but I am going to make it work by adding another piece of paper on top. I am using the extra little pieces that are left over for the top.
Christmas decorated in town. Among all the tinsel and lights, I'm strolling around, just wondering where you...
Before I glue the paper, I am painting this with a Waverly Antique Wax. As always, I will be using my Elmer's glue stick. You can totally use Mod Podge instead.
Still I wish you the merriest Christmas. I hope it will be all that you dream. I have nothing but
Using the Dollar Tree Nautical rope, I took it apart and then started to glue it all around the Christmas tree.
wish you the merriest Christmas of all.
I'm gluing this nautical rope all the way to the Christmas trunk, so I really didn't need to paint this. And to cover that mess up, I am using this Dollar General Christmas ornament. I did mess up, as you can see, but this is fixable. I am going to add this to cover that up. And on the top, as you can see, I also messed up, so I will be adding the bow there, and you can't even tell once it's nice and glued. The next thing I did was just add a Jenga block to the back so I can stand this. You can totally add a piece of jute string to the top if you want to hang this. I did paint the border of the Christmas ornament with my antique wax, and I absolutely love how this turned out. You can't even tell I messed this up. Somehow I did manage to fix this, and I just love how this turned out. So I hope you guys like this.
I have nothing but love for you. You can trust that too.
My next DIY was so easy and simple to do. I did use one of these Dollar Tree cone trees, and I did use some jute twine. I picked this up from the hardware section. I am only using one row for this. The next thing I will be doing is just removing the tag and this plastic garland off the cone. I did do something similar to this last year using a poster board to make the cone, and to be honest, this is so much easier to do. Like I said, I am using one of the rolls, and I started at the top. I did tie it first before I started to roll the jute string around this cone. And this was probably like the hardest part. It wasn't even hard, it was just, it did take a little bit of time just to keep rolling and rolling. Other than that, it's so easy to do.
Whoa, oh, oh. La, da, 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 oh, oh, oh. La, da, 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 oh, oh, oh. La, da, da, da.
Once I was all the way at the bottom, I did tie it. I didn't glue anything. The next thing I will be doing is just gluing some of these Walmart beads all around the bottom. And I am going to use this Dollar Tree buffalo check that you see here to just glue it at the bottom too, and then I made a bow to glue it at the top. And that is it for this DIY. I absolutely love how this turned out.
These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everything.
For my next DIY, I will be using the farmer's market calendar. Oh my gosh, I finally have this in my hands thanks to one of my sweet subscribers, Jessica. She was so nice and so sweet to send these over to me. And I absolutely love this farmer's market. It is a beautiful calendar. I am also using this fall decor sign. I just noticed it had 2 tags. But anyway, I will be starting off by removing the plastic from the calendar. Then I'm going to carefully remove the month of November. That is what Farm Fresh Christmas tree has in the back.
Melodies until the sun comes up. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh.
I will be using the back of the sign, and I want some of the brown to show, so I am going to cut the paper.
Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh. La, da, 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 oh, oh, oh. La, da, da, da. Making our Christmas memories. Yes, these are the good times with you. Don't even care what we do if I spend it with you.
You can totally leave the string so you can hang the sign, but I decided to remove it. I will be using my Elmer's glue stick to glue the paper.
Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire, chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, yeah. I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about it.
To blend this more to the sign, I am going to sand all around. And I did sand it a little bit on the paper, and it made the trees more rustic and old. And look how beautiful this is turning out. You can totally just leave it like this, but I decided to add more. I will be making some little bows using this Hobby Lobby ribbon, and I made 2 to put 1 on each tree on the side.
And from every window shines a light. Somewhere in the distance drums are calling.
I will not be adding a bow to the Christmas tree in the center. Instead, I'm going to use these DIY stickers. These are from Dollar Tree. I will be using one of the stars. These already have adhesive, but you can totally use hot glue. And that is it, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comment section which one was your favorite, because I would love to know. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.